Hi, and welcome to Preview. My name is Giampapa. Preview.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue guy.
Well, hello out there. My name is Giampapa. We've got a great show for you today. Guess who's here? Mary Poppins. And we're going to talk with her in just a few moments. But first, let's talk about theater. Kaza Valentina. First of all, let me congratulate the Speakeasy Stage Company for giving us 25 years of outstanding entertainment. And this year is no exception. Speakeasy continues the tradition. Their production is called Kaza Valentina and is set in 1962. The plot deals with a group of men who go off into the Catskills where they secretly gather to dress as women. Yeah, women. They are straight men who desire to bring out their feminine side in a place where they're comfortable. This play is based on actual events and was written by Harvey Fierstein, who says as a youth he spent time in the Catskills and knew of these men. His fascination became the plot for the play. Director Scott Edmiston gathered 7 men and 2 women to create the story. Each man shines in his role, as do the 2 female players. Carrie Dowling is the wife of Valentina, played by Thomas Dara, a man who is devoted to his wife and yet that must satisfy his feminine side. The remaining men consist of a pilot, an accountant, a librarian, a pharmacologist, and a court translator. Once these men return to their homes, they resume their normal life. There is comic relief here, especially when 3 of these lovelies mouth the words to the Maguire sisters' rendition of Sugar Time. It's worth the price of admission. I suggest you see Kaza Valentina. A huge applause for everyone involved in this production. Well, beautiful. The story of Carole King, the legendary songwriter and singer, has been triumphantly brought to the stage as a Valentine to one of the most popular personalities in the world of music. In what might be termed another jukebox musical, Beautiful, the Carole King musical, tells the story of a young, ambitious teenager girl from Brooklyn who came on the scene in the 1960s and wowed the world with her songs and music. Her story is one of triumphs and sorrows as she worked her way to the top. Along the way, she married and became part of a songwriting team with her husband. And with her fellow writers, she became one of the most successful solo acts in popular music. Abby Mueller plays Carole King, and here is a look at the Tony Award musical. If you enjoy the Jersey Boys, you're going to love the Carole King musical. It has all the ingredients that made it a smash hit. This show runs like a smooth locomotive. From the moment the curtain rises, you know you're in for a good time. The songs are great. The portrayal of the Shirelles and the Drifters bring back memories of the 60s. The scenery is top-notch, and there isn't one dull moment. Beautiful. The Carole King musical is just that, a beautiful tribute to a popular and fabulous songstress. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk to Mary Poppins. We have with us today Christina Pecce, who is playing Mary Poppins, and with her is Zoe Bradford, who runs the company theater. Welcome to both of you.
Well, thank you for having us.
Well, it's great having you here. I know you're going to be a fabulous Mary Poppins. I can tell just by looking at you. You've got the personality, you've got the sparkle in your eye. Everything that Julie Andrews had in the movie, you're going to do it on the stage. Isn't that right, Zoe?
Well, it is, and what's unique about Christina is she has a command and she has a mystery about her, which took us right away in the audition process, as we saw many women who are very, very talented, going for this coveted role. Who wouldn't want to play that great, iconic figure? But you know, it's not just about being sweet or kind. It's about being mysterious and magical and knowing things that maybe other people don't. And
Right.
I love that aspect of it. Christina showed out as having that quality.
Well, you have an extensive background in music. I know that you, first of all, you graduated from the Boston Conservatory. And stop me if I said this before, but anybody who comes out of the Boston Conservatory gets my great respect.
Oh.
And I really mean that. Everybody I've talked to, fantastic. And you graduated from there, but you've done opera. Tell me about that, first of all.
Yeah, so I started with music theater very early in my life, and I went to the company theater, their summer program, so I got loads of training there. I think I was there for 7 years as a kid.
As a kid?
As a kid, yeah.
Wow.
And then I went to school in New York, and I started studying classically there. And I furthered my education at the Boston Conservatory with my master's in opera performance.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have about 8 years now of classical training under my belt.
Did you do opera at the conservatory? Do they do opera?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I
They
know they
do.
do Broadway musicals,
Yeah.
but I never knew about the operas. Tell me
Yeah.
about some of them.
We did Don Giovanni,
Oh,
Mozart
wow.
classic. We've done some more obscure works too, L'Heure Espagnole, Ravel, and then Conrad Sousa's Transformations.
Really?
So yeah, it's really an astounding department.
What is your favorite opera of all the?
I love Transformations. That's Anne Sexton's retelling of the Grimm's Tales.
Oh yes.
So it's
yeah.
very fun. But Don Giovanni is also one of my favorites.
I love that
too.
show. I really
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Oh. Well, once you graduated, then you were on the road to success.
Yeah,
What happened after that?
It's tough once you graduate because then you're thrown into the real world, and
Yeah,
you need to take
it can be tough.
auditions. And if you're fortunate enough to get a gig straight out of school, that's great. But then once that gig's over, you need to make sure you have another one. So it's just constantly auditioning, and it's tiring, but I love it, and I'm going to continue to do it.
When you got your first audition, were you nervous? Was there a thought in your mind? I may just quit this whole thing. Do you ever think that?
Quitting was never an option, but
Good.
but yes, nerves certainly play into that. But it's funny, opera auditions are very different from music
Right,
theater auditions,
yeah.
but it's still generally, a few people behind a table, and you have a set amount of minutes or sometimes seconds to present yourself, and you need to make sure that you take that time to do so.
What was the first show you did after school?
After school, I went to Siegel Music Colony. It's a young artist training program.
Yeah.
And I did Eugene Onegin there, opera, Tatiana. And we did music theater. I played Anita in West Side Story.
Did you really?
My second year, which was super fun.
Wow. That's almost operatic too.
It is,
West Side
yeah.
Story. Wow.
Yeah.
You went right to the top. Well, now you're associated with the company theater doing Mary Poppins.
Yes.
And how's that going?
Oh, it's a dream.
You're in
It's a
rehearsal
dream.
right now as we take
are.
this show.
We are.
Yeah.
We rehearse 3 times a week, and the cast is exceptional, and the staff, the directors, choreographers, music directors. It's with everyone combined, it can't not be a good show.
Right,
It's going
I
to be
agree with you.
beautiful.
Who cannot love Mary Poppins?
Right, right.
That's what I always say. Why did you pick Mary Poppins, Zoe?
Well, number one, the rights had just come available, and we love to jump on a new, what we consider to be an opportunity to present a show that others have not done yet.
Yeah.
So we love to do that. But of course, who doesn't know that story? It has such a universal appeal. And what brought me to Mary Poppins personally was the movie Saving Mr. Banks, which I realized
Oh,
is
yes.
not
Yeah.
really, the Mary Poppins that we think of, because we think of her very much in the Disney vein. And for all of us who are of that age, who remember the 60s and remember that movie coming out, we fell in love with that because it was so unique and interesting. And Mary Poppins was such a great British figure. We were getting that British invasion at that time anyway. It was so appealing, for this nanny to just show up on your doorstep and solve the world and then take off. Once again, that mystery. But when I saw the movie Saving Mr. Banks and saw it caused me to go and look a little bit at the original book, which I had never read as a child, but I know many people have. And there's a real controversy over how Mary Poppins is presented. So that intrigued me, and I just wanted to learn more. So I'm really glad to be delving into this world. It's a beautiful musical. It really is. It's
really,
so well
yeah.
constructed and appealing, and works very well on stage in addition to being on film. Both things they're separate, but they're both effective.
Do you think if the movie Saving Mr. Banks was never produced, you would still have done this?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Really?
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it interesting? I mean, none of us knew the problems that Disney had with the author.
I know it. It's so
I
interesting.
mean, it almost never got produced.
Right. And there are people out there who don't love it, love the Julie Andrews because they loved the books.
Right.
There is that faction, but I mean, Disney has the magic touch, in my opinion. You can't
Yeah,
you
he
can't
really
lose
does.
with
Yeah.
when he was in his heyday. Things just were magical around
really were.
him.
It was a wonderful time.
I can't believe the body of work that came out of that man and his company.
Yeah.
And of
A real-
course,
a real
still
credit
going
to
on
the film
today. I
business.
mean, now the things today produced,
Exactly.
even when we've lost Walt Disney, but his company, still produces these wonderful things.
Well, now, in this production that you're doing, there's a lot of unique things in it. There's Bert on the roof
Right.
dancing, and for one, for Christina, as Mary Poppins, you have an umbrella. And do you come down from the top of the roof? I mean, how do you do that?
She's gonna.
This is
will be
magic.
flying.
Okay.
Yes.
And how many times do you do that on the show?
I think 2 or 3.
Really?
2 or 3.
Her parrot umbrella.
Yeah, we have
I
an
gotta-
authentic parrot umbrella.
Yeah, I got to
too.
see this. I mean,
It's
this
really
this
fun.
is true magic. To do something like that.
Well, ZFX helps us make that magic.
I'm sure they do. But you work with these kids. Now that must be a challenge.
It's a treat. They're so sweet.
Really?
They're very excited, I think, to be in a production with adults and
Yeah.
of the company theater's caliber. It's really exciting for them, and I think they're all very thankful to have this opportunity. And they're great to work with, and it's funny. They're improving constantly, and they're getting more comfortable with each other and the rest of the cast. But it's really excited to see them.
Yeah.
With all of us,
Are these children? Are they trained for theater?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Well,
Yeah, I mean, how do you-
we have run our academy, but we have 4 children. We double cast it just
Yeah.
because we have a long run and we didn't want anybody to wear out or get sick. But only one of the children we've worked with before. Actually, we didn't even see Christina for years. We didn't recognize her when she came in the door, and then we
Was
heard
a
her
long
name
time,
and like,
yeah.
wait a minute, she was one of our students back in the day, so it was kind of neat. But all of these kids have had some theatrical training. Once again, that was a tough one to cast, and in the film, of course, they were able to cast these little peanuts. They're
Yes.
so cute
Yeah, they were.
in the film, but they were too young for for the demands that we have. With film, you can get away with so much because you're just shooting for
Yes.
a minute or two and you cut. But with the live action, these
Yeah, they're
kids
there
are a
all the
little bit
time.
older. They're 11-year-olds,
Yeah.
10 and 11.
But it's all right. I mean, that
but they're
doesn't
still
alter
charming
the show in
and,
any way.
and so we rehearse everything. Each scene rehearses twice, so both sets of children get to do it, and the adults have just been wonderful about it. So patient, but the kids are pretty quick studies. They're doing very well. And they have good voices, and I think they're so excited to be, and there's only those 2 kids, in it at a time. So they're special,
Yeah.
So.
Does in the show, does Bert dance with the birds?
They put in our contract we couldn't put in penguins. That was in the actual contract. No penguins may
Why
be used.
do they do that? I can understand.
I have no idea.
Penguins on stage.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, they had those funny, and so when I first learned we were doing this, I was looking up penguin costumes and trying to think what Bree Plummer, our costumer, would do with this, and I thought I'd like to stick in some kids maybe who would be penguins, because it's so iconic in the movie with the dancing penguins. But we read the contract and it said you may not reproduce them. So I said, but it's such a fantasy when the park turns into something different.
Yes.
Because Mary's there, and it's not the dreary London foggy park that it could be, but this colorful, wonderful world. So instead, I said, well, what would be in Covent Gardens? Well, swans. So we threw a couple of swans in there to peck around and we just took our fantasy a little bit different way. So. It's really fun. We were allowed to do the statuary though, so we have the Boy on the Dolphin statue, which is so famous in I forget which, if it's Kensington or Covent Garden, one of the gardens in London. But at any rate, so he's a naked boy, but of course ours has a nice leotard on and some coverage. But
but it works.
But that famous Boy on Dolphin, he comes to life, and so making statuary. So we took a whole Greek theme, and we have Diana and a fawn, and they're all running around.
But they gave you no reason for the.
But no reason on the penguins. I
That's
couldn't even
strange.
begin to tell you. But
Would you, if they had given you the authority, would you have used penguins?
I don't know, because I
mean,
really like
how do you
keeping
control
it
them?
British. I like.
Yeah.
Why would penguins be there?
Yeah.
I don't know, unless they were at the zoo or something. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I
Well,
kind
not
of
only that, but how would you control them?
The real ones. No, we're going to dress up. I've had. Let's see. If I go through my animal, I've had a pot-bellied pig, goats. I'm thinking of my past career here of directing animals, many dogs, a couple of kittens. I mean, many different animals. We've worked with birds. We had a parrot and the king and I. The pygmy goats ate the set of Secret Garden, so they were a little bothersome. So live animals are fun, but next year we will be using some dogs.
Okay.
In one of our shows.
I often
They're
think
featured.
that an animal on stage, and I think of Annie.
Yes.
And she had the dog, and
Yeah,
how
of
the
course
dog was so well
we had a
controlled.
wonderful Sandy.
Yeah.
Really
The
fun.
penguins, that's
Penguins,
another
no,
one.
I don't know. I think that's some wrangling I'm not prepared for.
Christina, what is your favorite moment in the show? Do you have a favorite moment?
Boy. Well, I just think we had this great kind of big number review yesterday in rehearsal, and there's something really magical about Let's Fly a Kite. I don't know if it's the way that it's.
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, it's just it's when Mary Poppins in the musical at least comes back.
Yeah.
And the music is really expansive and beautiful. And I get chills every time that the ensemble
Do you
sings
really?
it. So I guess for right now, and I'm sure these moments will change constantly because there's just so many great moments. But I think right now that's where I'm getting chills.
Chorally, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we think she's gone and she flies back in. It's going to be, it's going to be amazing. People will be getting the chills.
The fact that you sold out already, and it hasn't
that
even
amazing?
opened, I think that's amazing.
Right. We only have a few. We have some tickets left on some Thursdays. I think that's about it. You can get a ticket here or there, but basically the run has sold out. So we were fortunate enough to add a performance. The cast and crew has all agreed. We're going to do a matinee. The one day we didn't have an afternoon matinee is December 5th, and we're going to do a fundraiser, and we're really excited about it. It's going to be $75 or $65 a ticket, depending. It's going to be a great big holiday party before the show.
Nice.
With Christmas crackers and champagne
nice.
for the adults
Yeah.
and all of that, and all of the proceeds will go towards the renovation and upkeep of the exterior of
yeah.
our building, which we really need.
Really?
So it'll be a fantastic
Yeah.
fundraiser launch off, and I'm thrilled so we'll have tickets to that matinee available in just a couple of days. So, well, by the time this airs, it'll be available. And yeah, I mean, it's exciting to present something that's going to serve so many people in the community. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
I think that's wonderful. And I think Ernie will take notice.
I hope so.
well,
I'd be honored.
Well, the fact that you
We all
sold out,
would.
that tells me something.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a great show.
I think so.
And I want you to know, I do talk it up at the Ernie meetings.
Oh, thank you.
When I see your shows.
Thank you.
Because
We put a lot of technical work, and
You really
our
do.
orchestra, everything is top notch.
And it's not amateurish. I mean, you're
try to work
professional. You
hard.
really and truly are.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
really strive to provide a professional atmosphere for our actors, a professional looking
Mm-hmm.
piece on stage, give people a lot of experience.
And you have a huge orchestra.
Yeah.
And that means an awful lot. It
that's-
really and truly does.
Well, it's important to keep that alive, and that's
Absolutely.
expensive. But that's why we're having to do a fundraiser. It's great.
Yeah.
Our mission, involves keeping musical theater in
Yeah.
its true form alive when people are going to tapes and cutting the pit down to minimal. We just don't want to do that. We just want to keep it as lavish as we can afford to do. So lots of costuming and everything's
Yeah.
being custom made for these people. Oh, it's beautiful. Very, very exciting.
You are one of the few theaters in the area that has a complete orchestra.
I think so.
Yeah, I think Regal has a large orchestra,
Uh-huh.
and you do too. And
Right.
I don't know of any others.
No, I really don't either.
I mean, outside we don't talk
Outside of
about
Boston,
Broadway
yeah.
and Boston. Well, that's
Right,
that's
of course,
a different
that's a whole
category
different thing,
altogether.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean,
it's what we love.
sometimes I go to community theaters.
Yeah.
And when they do a musical, they may have like a three-piece.
Yeah.
And it's not the
It's
same.
not the same at all.
Because
no.
music does something to you.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
In a show, it really and truly does. It triggers your emotions.
Right.
Did I
and
say that? Well, really,
But
it
it
does.
does.
Yeah, it truly does.
It does, and
Yeah.
musical theater is what our audience loves the best.
Yeah.
So we try to give it to them as best we can. Michael Joseph has been at the helm
Yeah.
of most of our musicals throughout the years, and is such a stickler for presenting what's on that paper, what that composer did.
Yeah.
He wants to bring it to life.
Right,
And
yeah.
for Jordy and I, bringing a script to life, that's a different challenge. But it's more of an open challenge, where he really wants to pay homage to that composer.
And he does a great job of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I love. Yeah.
You do, how many straight plays do you do each year?
Well, just one
Just
straight
one or
play a
two?
year, and then
Okay.
usually one with the teens. The
Yeah,
teens will
yeah.
pick one up, because we want to make sure they're getting training just
Yeah.
specifically in acting only, because
But
there's a lot of kids who
primarily-
just want that, and the musical kids need it.
Yeah.
So this is a nice opportunity. for
Primarily
them.
your musicals.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a shame that musicals cost so much.
They do.
They're-
They
the
do.
prices, I
They're
won't even ask you.
outrageously.
I mean, I know it's
well, you
enormous.
could. We're a nonprofit, and we can't even touch a musical for hardly under $70,000.
Wow.
So it's a really tough business to make it in, and I'm proud that we are surviving.
You
know,
do a
so-
unique job with it. I noticed when I saw 1776, I was looking at the furniture,
Yeah.
and that looked so authentic to me.
Didn't it
all
look
those
wonderful?
chairs,
Well, yeah,
and they
but
all matched.
Guy, all those chairs. I was digging around for a solid year at barn sales and antique stores and auctions.
Where did you finally get them?
Because they had to be those type of
Yeah.
chairs, and I got them all through the year. Some of them even pulled out of people's trash. I think I paid I think the most expensive one was like 35 or 40, but most of them were about $5.
But they matched.
$5 or $10, but they're all that
Isn't
type
it
of
funny?
chair, which you had to have. That's what that bentwood
Yeah,
chair
it
was very
it was the
important.
style in those days.
Yeah,
Isn't
exactly,
it funny,
that's
when
what
I
they had.
watched the show, that came to mind. I
Oh,
said,
it's great.
I wonder how Zoe got around these
Got
chairs.
those
Where did
chairs.
she get them?
Right.
Because I know,
Took me about a year to collect them.
did it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I know you've had problems in other shows getting
Sure.
pieces.
Oh,
But that to
yeah.
me was so incredible.
Right. That's why I love the period shows, because I love
Yeah.
digging around, finding these unique things. Yeah, our scene shop is a little bit overflowing with the unique things.
I can
But
imagine,
when
yeah.
you need it, there it is.
When you need it,
know?
you need it. And it's
Right.
there.
Right, exactly. So it's part of the fun.
Well, oh my goodness, we only have a couple of minutes left.
Oh, yes,
I
go so
wanna talk to
fast with you, Guy, every time.
Right.
It goes very quickly.
Oh, Christina, I know you're going to be a great, great Mary Poppins. I mean, I just know it. Just the sparkle in your eye. It tells me. And I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, the songs in this are so beautiful. Just a Spoonful of Sugar is one of my all-time favorites. And I know you're going to do a great job with that.
Yeah, I love it. And Sally Forrest has been, doing this incredible choreography with everybody. So it's great to have a triple threat up there who can execute all that. I mean, geez, it's not easy. I'll say I see people very tired at the end of rehearsal because
I can imagine.
they're really
I can imagine.
Trying for the precision,
Yeah.
Jordy and I have been working on the just trying to make the atmosphere, create that 1910 English atmosphere. So I think we've got all our ducks in a row.
got
so to
everything
speak.
in place.
Everything's in place.
Well, I know
we
when
just
you-
have to pull off some magic tricks and we're good to go.
Well, I know you're going to do it, and I know when those kids are on stage and you're doing the dancing,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to get a standing applause.
I hope
I just
so.
know it.
Oh, that's great.
It's such a great show.
Thanks for your enthusiasm, Guy. I love it.
Zoe, thank you for coming up, and
My
Christina,
pleasure.
Pecce, it's so nice to meet you.
Great
It
to
really
meet
is.
you, Guy. Thank you for having
and
me.
All I can say is break a leg.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks
that's
so
our show
much.
for this time, folks. I hope you enjoyed Mary Poppins. Please go see it. Now I want to thank Mike Hammond, and Jeff and Stoughton Media Access for allowing us to do the show here in Preview in Stoughton. Thanks for watching Preview. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come